Now, we know that those particular costs are not going to stay as they are. Your child is going to be in school for 12 years, and education inflation is something that is higher than normal. Won't you speak to us about this?
Yes, again, because of that great demand or quest to have that quality education in South Africa, we're seeing that these costs of education, when I speak about 27,000 for an ex-Model C school in South Africa, that is going up year after year. And what we've seen traditionally in South Africa for both primary school, high school, university, the average increase in the cost traditionally is about 9%. And that we've seen at Old Mutual when we track these costs, and also evidence in the Stats SA component of education inflation. So it's about 9%. It's only this year where we've seen some more pressure coming through into the education inflation, and it's about 10%. However, we expect that it will slow down back to 9%. But if you compare that again, 9% to normal inflation, which is roughly at most about 6% in South Africa, about 5 to 6, and most salaries, if you're lucky, you'll get more than inflation. So as a parent, you're looking at paying even more for this education going forward, and your salary is certainly not keeping up with that, because very, very few people would say they get more than 10% increase every single year. So these figures that we just highlighted, going forward, they'll be increasing year after year. And for a child, again, starting or born this year, we're estimating as Old Mutual, if they're going to go through ex-Model C schools and go to have a bachelor degree in one of our universities, that will cost more than R1 million. And if they're going to go through private schooling and go through one of our universities, that will cost 2.4 million in total. So that is looking at the current cost and projecting forward with this high inflation that we see in education.
Let's talk a little bit more about that 10% increase. I know you've touched on it and described that it will probably come back down to 9%. But what are the chances of it coming down even further to meet just South Africa's general inflation? What will need to happen? I'm assuming many more schools and universities will need to be opened.
Certainly, we don't foresee it coming down below 9% towards general inflation of 5%. Certainly because of the fact that the access to quality education is still quite a huge demand to it. So it's really driven by that demand. The supply might be catching up to it, but the demand is forever growing. More and more South Africans are becoming middle class and higher income parents who want them to afford these levels of education or these types of educations. Same thing with universities. It will take really probably very much more intervention in the supply, but the demand is quite great. Just if you look at the number of learners who qualify with a bachelor's matric, they're far more than the amount of spaces that are available in the universities, probably more than double what we have. So the demand is still quite massive, and for us in the long term, we don't see that, well, in the medium term, we don't see that 9% going towards the 6%.
So your bottom line to parents would be start saving immediately and use that money wisely and invest it in the future.
Yes, and if you want to have that access, your child to have that access to quality education, start saving as early as possible. I think nothing beats start saving early. Once you start saving, ensure that you look into investing in something that will give you growth so that it keeps up with that inflation. It may be daunting really when you speak about the cost, but the reality is it's all possible if you start early and you do the right things. And I think highlighting all these things, for me, what really is key is that as a parent, you need to realize that a key financial advisor can actually help you in navigating through how much you should save and which vehicle to use, because also not an average person will understand all these various products, let alone just understanding how much you should set aside. So someone who can actually assist you to say, put it here, and every year you review that. Are you still on track? Are you not on track? Can we make some amendments to these? And for me, again, as a parent, that ensures that when you're having your goals and dreams, discussions or talks with your child, whatever they want to do, you're able to know that you are safe putting something aside.